on the troll.
Hello and welcome to Ntanzi. We're back again, and we promised you that we're going to try. We're still trying to be on time. It does happen, but slowly. Emily, greetings.
Hi, Mr. Anonymous, and hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Ntanzi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us yet again for another one of our live sessions where we deliberate on the Senzo Meyiwa Trial.
Yes. Well, it has been that day, long day.
Very long.
Of a lot of things that were said.
Yes, there's a lot of things that were said today. And general overall overfeel is that the plan here is to make Ntanzi exhausted. To tire him, to wear him out. To what end we don't really know or understand.
Yes.
And the questions are basically baseless. They have not really proven the state's case. They haven't really done much for the state's argument, and they keep going on and on and on, repetitive. Him saying the same thing, sticking to his story. It's only here and here where the blunders happen, and they're only happening because he's exhausted, not that because his story has changed.
Someone asked Emily, why haven't you guys tried to actually have interviews with some of the people that are affected and whatnot? Why?
Mr. Anonymous, I think you'd be the appropriate person to answer that.
Right.
I don't know if I should share how I really feel. My feeling when it comes to taking interviews and putting people that are victims in the spotlight, it comes with the need of also wanting to be sensitive. These are people's lives. It's and also timing as well. You have to calculate a lot of things. You can't just throw people into the fire for views, in my opinion. You know, I've always been careful. I remember even when we took Defoe's interview, it was way when the heat was off the case. And that's why the interview was more like getting to know him as a person versus the whole sensationalism around the case. In fact, we talked about the case like the final hour of the interview. A majority of the interview was about him, getting to know him, his background, him as a person, and all of that. I enjoy interviews when they are approached like that. I don't like sensationalism and gossip, and especially around sensitive issues like this. You know, this trial is very, very sensitive for the Meyiwa family. It's also sensitive for the victim, the 5 accused, and also even for the people that were in the house. Everything is sensitive. So when you give a platform, you have to really think carefully about who you are giving the platform to and why.
Right. So I think you answered everything. That's for Ngubeko. On WhatsApp.
We would like to have interviews, but at the same time, we wouldn't like to sensationalize things like this. You know?
Yeah, just the
gossip and everything.
You know, we lay person, but I mean, you probably understand that we do read books, we do, and we have friends who are lawyers. It's not always good to speak
while the trial is ongoing.
There are things that you do that ends up compromising
the case.
Yes, the case, one might argue it is compromised, but don't you want to hide your hands
and not show your hand.
and not show your hands until the case is done.
Even when we interviewed Defo, he had withdrawn, right?
Yes,
It was
at the time he had withdrawn
his representation. So it felt okay to talk to him at that point in time.
Yeah. So sometimes I watch this, I'm going to say this. When we started this channel, when we started about this case.
The channel is long.
The channel was long there.
Yeah.
We were doing reviews,
of TV
just TV
programs
reviews. And then we sat down and said, okay, because we see that we have a lot of people that are already doing reviews now. Mm-hmm. When we started doing reviews, it was also not a taboo.
Yeah.
And then eventually we got people who were doing reviews. I think they liked what we were doing and they felt they could do it better. And we said, okay, let's leave that for people who are doing that.
Yeah.
We moved on. Said, okay,
moved on.
We have reviewed a trial. We have reviewed a series, that series of Senzo.
Yes,
which came, that's why we started reviewing it initially.
Yeah.
It was just about that we are looking at the series as part of the reviews that we were doing, which was the broadcasting that was happening. And then if we like something, we review it. And then we moved to this case. No one was talking about this case. Everyone was afraid.
Yes.
We did it. But obvious. This is Africa, this is South Africa. Everyone is going to want to do it. Other people do it for views. Others do it for, I don't know, for whatever reason. But I think we remain that type of YouTube that is sensitive, that looks at the circumstances of what we are talking about. We don't just talk for the sake of getting views. That's why we can sit for like close to a month without reviewing, because one, we don't depend on this as much as we use the finances that come with it.
Yeah.
But we don't depend on this. We have our daily jobs. So others then, I think they literally work YouTube. So sometimes the things that happen on the street of YouTube, they can actually put people in danger. There are things that we could say here,
but we choose not to.
Not to say them. We analyze, we find conclusion, we come to the answers. But when we come to you, we present it in a manner that you will make your own conclusion.
Yes, we're not telling you what to do.
We're not going to tell you the answers. Say, okay, this is what we find.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you what to think.
We're not going to tell you that. But we are just going to be open with you and just give you what we think you should get, so that you start thinking on your own. It's like helping a baby to walk, and then that's it. That's how far, and that's why we
can go.
That's why we use things that are publicly available. And
yes.
Mark that word, publicly available, not something that is exclusive. We don't do exclusives. We will never do exclusives. Maybe if they are not harmful, we will do them. But if they are harmful, no. Be it to a channel and also to people that we'll be doing exclusive with.
Yes.
You understand?
For example, you provide a platform for someone to hate on someone else or to put danger on someone else. That we cannot do. I think you've already seen, even with the phone calls, some of them that go way overboard.
Yeah, we shut it down.
Yeah.
We tone it down. We try to move away from that.
It's for the integrity of what we are doing. What we are doing, we're seeking justice for Senzo. We're not going to sensationalize. I know some people keep watching with the expectation that there'll be something dramatic happening, but it would be inhumane At the end of the day, Senzo's mom is going through a lot. She's getting sick. It has come to a point where she can't even watch what's happening in that courtroom anymore.
Yeah. And also even the people that are involved, I think sometimes it happens that, and I'm saying this before we start, Emil, so that I'll just finish up. Sometimes it happens that you get into things that you don't understand. You know, be careful of the help that you get that might put you into troubles. So fight your battles, but be smart about it. Don't be blind and go in thinking you're fighting the battles, but you're probably not going to be able to finish fighting those battles. You understand? I think I've said more.
I think you've said more than enough. Whoever will receive it will receive it. It's not with any bad intention or bad light or anything like that.
No.
It's just friendly advice.
Just fight
That's
your
all.
battles in a smarter way, though. Don't go there thinking that blow by blow is the order of the day. This is South Africa.
At the
Here,
end of the day.
blow by blow, it depends on who's got an upper hand.
And with this case, a lot of dead bodies have dropped,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
See? We always correct where we need to correct. Let's go.
Well, we continued with cross-examination from the state with accused number 2, and Bongani Ntanzi was in the witness box today. Yo, guys, I felt so sorry for Bongani. Yes. I don't know why. You know, in my opinion, you are a victim, then you become victimized again on that witness box. It is so sad. It is so sad to be badgered, abused. I even titled the video that way. I don't think I titled it. I put it on the thumbnail. I'm like, it's a lot. Like, they're making... It's too much now. When is this going to stop? Are they going to cross-examine him for the whole week, going around in circles like this? But anyway, guys, let me go through it. Well, Sibanda, this time around, apologized for the late start, and he said that there was an issue regarding the escort of accused number 2 in the morning. He started off by asking, we paused at a stage where you were at the toll
accused number
gate.
2 always has a problem. Why? And every time they make an excuse, it's accused number 2, which is Ntanzi, by the way.
Yes.
Why is it always Ntanzi?
And remember that Tanzi is not in control of his transportation from Kroshimampuru to the court. And by the way, it's only like 15 minutes away. It's not even 15, like 10 minutes drive away. It's not that far from the court. But he's always having issues. We don't know.
Who's answerable for those issues?
We don't know.
The people who are keeping him in custody. Who are those people? Then Kroshimampuru people should be able to give answers for that. I mean, it is. I find it odd that it is always that.
It's very odd.
You understand? It takes one phone call to say, hey, delay. I might be delayed.
You think so?
I'm just saying. The access is there.
To just phone and
Yeah,
say-
the access is there.
Maybe
Who
they
organize?
do phone the
The
state.
NPA organize, right?
Yes.
For these people, everything you want to, in terms of Ntanzi being taken back, you know, they are in charge. That's their court.
Yes.
But yeah, the excuses, I've noticed that mostly it's Ntanzi. Which also should tell you why Ntanzi is a person of interest. Why Ntanzi might be maybe the weakest link. Sorry to say that, but it looks like that. And that's my opinion again.
Well, he said, I just want to clarify something that was not clear when I put that assertion that you were assaulted near Ring Road around 22 past 3 p.m., which you have distanced yourself from. You were actually en route from Pukeng via Moroka. Like I said before, Sibanda is confused and confusing Tanzi and confusing the rest of us. So yesterday he was hammering on this ring road just before the adjournment. And this morning he was like, I apologize. He didn't even apologize. He said, I was mistaken. You were actually from Pukeng to Moroka. You were nowhere near Ring Road. Yeah. Then Tanzi said, my lord, I think I have explained about how I was assaulted close to a gate at the back. I was never assaulted on the road. And Sibanda said, I understand. I was just clarifying, Mr. Ntanzi. Yeah, ne? Ngasho ngathi yo ngeke bafowethu. It's gonna be a long day. I could already feel from this that it's gonna be a long day. And Sibanda then said, let's go backwards on the 17th of June 2020 at the boardroom. You said Gininda instructed you to take off your clothes, and did you comply with that instruction? And Tanzi said that he took off his top. Sibanda then asked when Mabena came close to you to look for tattoos, and Tanzi said yes. Sibanda said, I want you to comment on the instruction you gave to Mr. Mgomezulu on the 17th of November 2023 when you said that you refused because there was a woman there. Mohani said you must tell the truth because how could they ask you to take your clothes off when there were people there, women there, and you wouldn't be asked to do so. And Ntanzi said that, may I not respond on what Mgomezulu said? I'm here to testify on what happened. Gininda asked me to take off my clothes. He also saw I don't have the numbers from prison tattoos. Okay, I don't even know what those numbers mean. So why does it matter though? He refused or he didn't refuse. Here it seems that there's more of an attack on Mr. Mgomezulu more than proving the state's case. It's very weird, in my opinion, Mr. Anonymous, because I could literally feel it from this line of questioning, that it seems that there's a cause and a path to discredit Mr. Mgomezulu as a lawyer or a legal professional, to say that he makes up stories for his clients. He adds a little spice, a little bit of aromat. He doesn't tell the truth. There's that witch hunt that I'm sensing from this Sibanda. I'm not gonna entirely put it on Balwe.
You know what? The power of this case is that do not trust anyone. That's the first thing.
Yes.
Do not trust anyone.
Yes.
Even your mother, your sister, your brother. Do not trust anyone.
Don't.
I will say this because now I'm hoping that I'm going to say it and hide as much as I can. That's the main point.
Okay.
I
don't
don't
listening.
need. So it seems as if somewhere, somehow, there's that broken relationship.
What broken relationship?
I'm saying broken relationship between Mgomezulu and the people there. I don't know. I'm going to say the people there, maybe even the people that they're representing. The manner in which I think the only person I can say stuck with him properly, even after saying I cannot comment on, he said it in a perfect way. The perfect way, Sibia never distanced himself to Mgomezulu.
No.
Never distanced himself to Mgomezulu.
He said, I trust Mr. Mgomezulu to do his job.
I'm worried about the noise behind. The noise that probably could reach the accused. And that noise is not a noise that you should be able to listen to and chill. everything changes in this case.
Yes.
You know, everything and anyone can change. We saw that with Buthelezi. Buthelezi came in as a person who was going to say what would favor the states, in my own opinion.
Yes.
And then twist. And then all of a sudden changed. So the manner in which, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe Ntanzi does not know how to put words. But this man is a Zulu man who's from KZN.
Be honest.
Who does Zulu dance. Insizwa ngagcwele sikubeka kanjani. Insizwa enesoka. If udlala ingoma, if you are Zulu dancer, if you know how to dance like a Zulu man, kunento kuthiwa isisoka. Yabona?
Yeah.
When we are dancing, kunenyawo othi uma uyishaya kuthiwa hayi inyawo zesoka leziyana. You understand? Usho ukuthi you have this I would say charisma.
Yes.
A good example is our former president Jacob Zuma.
Okay.
Unesoka loya muntu loyo.
But
Even when he speaks, you know, there's that thing. You want to listen. Do you understand?
True.
You want to listen. And then when they speak, you don't want to listen. And that thing, you learn it, you learn it when you are there with the boys, you learn it when you are proposing women. That's why many people would say, hey, Zulu men, they have a way with their mouth.
Yes.
They are able to talk and talk
They're
you.
able to promise you
And
heaven
promise you
and
heaven and earth, and you still listen. You know that probably some of it is not true, but you still listen.
Yeah.
I doubt that it does not have that. You know, he might have, someone might have told him something. I don't know. That it feels like that.
He's giving an energy of he's losing confidence in Mgomezulu.
Yes.
He's giving the energy of throwing Mgomezulu under the bus.
Yes.
He's giving that energy. That's honestly our opinion, because yesterday I was not understanding some of his responses. You know, especially when it came to Mr. Mgomezulu and how he had put it.
I listened to him. Maybe also we are wrong to put it like that, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I listened to him. He does little listening. He does more of talking. And you'd see that by Sibanda saying that he said white person. Akazange esho lo muntu initially ukuthi white person. When he had to clarify that, instead of clarifying ukuthi bengisho umuntu ompofu. Do you understand? Umuntu ompofu is a person who's light in complexion. Do you understand? Not a person of no color.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
He goes back and explain ukuthi uma efaka mask, when a person has a mask, you could see the eyes and the part that is white, and that's what Sibanda convinced him to say. Basically, Sibanda's head, this man was talking about a man of no color.
And even the interpreter, he said white.
And it started with an interpreter.
Yes.
That interpretation that was wrong, it started with an interpreter. The interpreter, instead of saying a person who's light in complexion, he said white.
Light-skinned. Light-skinned, that could have assisted. But he said white.
There you go. So it's easy to convince him to agree with you. It's very easy to convince him to agree with you. That's what I've realized. In fact, I must confess that I thought that the weakest link in terms of the cross-examination, it would be Sibia. To my surprise, Sibia is the solid one.
True.
I was very surprised. And hence when Tanzi came, I expected Ntanzi to top it up. But it seems as if Sibia just killed it. Sibia killed it.
Someone or something is getting into his head, and it is at this moment in time when he's on that stand, and he's not answering questions in a.
He does not breathe before he speaks.
Yeah.
He speaks with that air.
It was
And
okay
it pumps
under
him
the examination in chief with Ramasepeli, but now with a cross-examination, I don't think he understands what a cross-examination does.
This is the time where he needs to relax and be laid back and start
answer
speaking.
the question, one phrase,
and
one
repeat
thing.
the question, not from
Give a whole story
not
or-
from the what we call it, not from who's this, not from the interpreter. Start with the person who said the story. Repeat that question.
Yes.
From your side.
If you don't hear the question, then ask them, repeat that question. I did not understand or hear it.
Yes, there's too much noise behind that. And one thing also I looked at, it seems as if somewhere, somehow, psychologically, this thing has taken a toll on Tanzi. Long time ago.
True.
And there are people who know that.
Yeah.
And they would use that. So his answers, when you listen to him and you try to digest some of his answers, you can tell that he's emotionally weak, and that's my opinion. Emotionally, he's weak, and in all fairness, this is his first time.
Yes, he's never had an encounter with the police or lawyers or state prosecutors prior to this. So, and also I remember also speaking about how I feel like he was the weakest link amongst all the 5 accused. I've said this prior to him actually being cross-examined. And I could already tell with the examination in chief with Mr. Ramasepeli that the cross-examination, he's going to seriously have a hard time because to me, he's giving me that sense that the reason why all of this is happening is because he couldn't be stern.
You're right. That's what I wanted to say too. That it seems as if there was anything out of that so-called torturing, he could have been the first one to break.
Yes. He couldn't be stern in his truth. He couldn't be have a backbone. Even in the way he answers.
It's not
now.
even a backbone, Emily.
I wouldn't. Yeah, maybe
I
backbone
think
is a wrong word.
It's a wrong word.
Like,
It's
be stern. Be no must be a no. It must not be. Let me think for
yes.
other people.
Let me think about it.
Let me include other people and their feelings into what you know when he says stuff like "ukhulumi phutha" or "wenzi phutha." Just say it's a lie. You were listening to police officers that you are saying they beat you up, and they said you are lying, and you have the courtesy to refer to them with so much kindness, hoping that it will give you an expect. It's not gonna help in this situation. Be clear with your answers.
Even people who are in the house,
Yes.
among allow.
Yes.
Do you
You see what I
understand?
mean? So you have been through the most according to your version. Stick to your truth. Stick to it. A lie is a lie
and take your
according to your
emotions
version.
to remove that sort of respect that you give to these people.
Yes. They have not earned it.
They have not earned it
No.
if they did all that they did.
If they did what
There
they
is
did.
no need for you to actually respect them. If Ntanzi was a person of no color, he wouldn't be standing there.
No.
Ask me why?
Why?
Because they would declare him mentally unfit.
Yes. That's so true. That's so true.
And that's my opinion.
That's so true.
But let us continue.
Well, yeah, for that answer with the whole situation about Mgomezulu having said that, I had wished that, Ntanzi could have said perhaps, yes, there were females there, and I was reluctant to dress in front of them, but I ended up complying with the instruction. It's not like I had an option of saying no or not complying when I felt threatened.
Let me demonstrate, Emil. I'm sorry to disturb you. I'm reading here. Maybe people think that we are against Ntanzi. No, we are not.
No, we're not against Ntanzi.
Let me demonstrate. Do I think that Mngomezulu did not hear the story from Tanzi that is it Rapadu guy?
Yes.
He even said that. What did he say? What did they say? He said, "Kantulimele kanje." Is it no?
Yes,
Is that
he
Kantulimele
said
kanje? Is it, or is
no? He said that he felt no. He said that Canada Rapadu was how I didn't notice that you were hurt like this. That's what he said to him when he saw the handcuffs.
It's not that. The one that he was hammering on CB.
Mokhani. Mokhani was saying that he was even looking at him via the
No, not that one. Today, the Rapadu one.
Okay.
But the manner in which this guy even said that your lawyer made this seem extreme, like you were hurt so bad.
Oh, that part where Sibanda was cross-examining him.
I think Tanzi said that thing. That's my thinking.
So?
I think he said it. Ngomezulu couldn't have had it otherwise. I think he said it. And think about it. I'm told to just take off my clothes by people that I'm refusing to adhere to what they are saying I must adhere to. Do you think I'm just going to take my clothes off?
No.
And there's a lady inside?
No.
I will definitely kind of refuse for...
Be reluctant.
It'll be reluctant. I mean, so, because obviously maybe they are allegedly forcing, then I will do that eventually. So
That's
hence
why
I'm saying...
like, the answer could have been something so more or less like that. I'm just giving
You
an
have
example.
already covered your sorry for the word S. You have covered it by saying that some of it I would remember, some I won't remember.
Yes.
So if someone reminds you of that,
You're
all
like,
you need
thank
to
you
say
for
is like,
reminding me
yes,
of
you are
that.
correct.
Yes.
I
thank
cannot
you.
remember all the nitty-gritties, but you are correct.
But there were definitely ladies there, and I was reluctant. I didn't feel comfortable undressing in front of women.
Then saying, I cannot speak for,
Mngomezulu.
but I did not say that.
But
In
I
fact,
did not say, yeah, he did say I did not say that. And I just felt like, oh my God, this is the worst time to be a defense attorney when you have somebody that you did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong.
Already
Just.
Mngomezulu, if you ask me, he's a shark. For me, that's what I see. And there are people who are not comfortable that is there. They understand? Because he knows what he's doing. More especially when it comes to the speciality of a trial within a trial.
Yeah.
So the attempt to character assassinate might something that we cannot write off. So do you want to give those people an upper hand? That's why I'm saying people who are talking about Mngomezulu, inside court and outside court, in my own opinion, I would advise them to stop, because the information they are revealing, some of it has a potential of actually being used indirectly so in that court. He's already on the storm. Do you want to put more pressure on him?
And people were like, Mngomezulu, why are you not standing up? Why are you not objecting? Hey Nina, Mngomezulu is going through a lot.
And he's smart. He's smart if you ask me. He's not going to object to small things. He read Ramusipedi does that.
Yes.
It's fine. If you listen to this testimony, out of all that we have said, there is nothing that the state has done to debunk the theory that, and I will demonstrate that there was what we call this assault. Nothing. Continue, Emil.
Yeah, and another point that I wanted to raise, and I felt like this is why I was initially worried about Ntanzi's long answers, because I kind of had an idea that Sibanda was going to do this to him, And Sibia also, when we looked at accused number one's testimony, he kept it short, It was difficult to entangle him, to keep bringing stuff up that he would say, because sweet and short, this is what happened, this is what happened, yes, no, no, yes, brief, keep it brief. And I feel like the experience with those other cases that we were talking about on the channel, we found some little information regarding those cases that he has been through. I feel like it was enough training for him to understand that it doesn't help to speak in long paragraphs, and being emotional on that witness box.
No, it
really doesn't help. Then Sibanda then said, so that refusal to take off your clothes never happened. Now look at how this thing is now being...
and if you ask me, on a normal day, this judge will ask you, where you going with this?
Exactly.
But it is not being...
His absenteeism from Rob versus Hepworth. It doesn't apply to the accused.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and I know people are saying maybe something happened with Mshololo. If you ask me now for free, I'll tell you that which happened to Mshololo is probably was sort of a plan. And that's my assumption, that's my opinion. That's my opinion, which warranted the quietness that we are seeing now.
And
you think that Mshololo dealt with this situation. How many times has this been happening to Mshololo?
Many times since.
Why all of a sudden we are so quiet this much?
Because maybe now it's more clear that she could be on the line as well. She's threading on a thin line.
No, I'm not talking about Mshololo. I'm talking about the judge.
Oh, you mean the judge?
Yes. Why are we now?
It's quite obvious because this has nothing.
How many times has he been shutting Mshololo down since we started this case? Mshololo has been on the wrong side in most of the times.
Yes, he has been very much against Mshololo.
Why now are we quiet?
Now Mshololo is quiet.
No. Why now are we quiet? I'm talking about the judge. Why is the judge quiet? You're thinking that
because he's not for the accused. I mean, he's...
No, you missing the plot. You're missing everything that happened in that court. For me, it's something that was supposed to happen. Let me start here. Baloyi being off and this guy coming to question these guys.
Yes.
For me, it's something that was supposed to happen.
You think so?
And any flop that happens doesn't sit on a bigger fish, sits on a smaller fish. That's my opinion, obviously. The fight that broke there, it's something that, for me, was meant to happen to warrant the quietness.
To make Mshololo quiet?
No, to warrant the quietness that you are seeing now.
For him to have an excuse that if... so you are telling us that maybe that was done on purpose so that he wouldn't have to say anything. Did you see that day?
Were we watching the same proceedings?
We were.
Did you see that day, even the smaller fish said something about Mshololo? Unprovoked. We didn't pick the mics normally.
The smaller fish
we have said
she shouted. She shouted.
We have heard Mshololo.
Warning statement.
We have heard Mshololo.
Warning statement.
We have heard Mshololo gossiping in that mic.
Yes,
and we have called it out.
Yes.
But that day we didn't hear anything. And the mic was on.
And it was very much on. Let alone he's saying shouting.
Yes.
Shouting.
So now it's like I don't wanna talk because the defense is saying I'm talking too much. But you have already done the damage.
But you've done the damage.
The damage was with the witnesses that came.
Exactly.
And you are done. Basically, if you ask me, and my own opinion, your job is done when it comes to that.
Yes.
Now, The other job is finishing or is in progress right now. Do whatever you wish with that person. I will not give you rules on how you do it.
And I don't care.
Take him down, drag him down, do whatever.
I don't care anymore.
It's not about not caring. This is stage 2 for me. It's like it's just looking like stage 2. But it's my own opinion. I'm not a lawyer. I'm saying that if you have to ask those nitty-gritty questions that are useless, that you are repeating, even if they object, I would say, I'll keep quiet and you'll continue asking, did you see that?
Yes, I saw it.
Yes. He doesn't give answer on the objection. It's like,
Continue.
Sibanda. Do you understand?
Mr. Sibanda, continue.
That's how we have moved from the elaboration of why that should not happen according to what law and what not and what not. Now
the state is done. How? Continue and which court? Which court are you in? I was honestly, regardless of whether what happened with Mishololo happened or did not happen, I expected this. I expected him to do this with the accused on the stand or in the witness box.
And
expecting it.
Obviously, yeah, we are alleging because we are not part of this.
What the judgment looks like,
Here we are alleging.
I can speculate.
I cannot say.
To look like.
I cannot say speculate. I would say no. Do not speculate because you'll be surprised. But that surprise comes with 375 being dragged on the mat. Because even if they let go of this case, even if they say, okay, it seems as if, because Sibanda has not debunked anything. He's reducing it. You are saying I was hit hard. Sibanda say you probably were just hit. That's my own opinion.
Yeah.
The way he's asking, if you look at the AVL, the other one that is not appearing, but the others that are appearing, are you saying that those AVLs that are appearing and there was a stop and they are collaborating Tanzi's story, therefore it happened that Tanzi was tortured there? It doesn't matter even if we miss that torturing the other one. It doesn't matter. But admitting to one amounts to the collapse of this case. And that's what seems like Sibanda is doing. He's saying, okay, I hear you, but here, on this one of Orlando, I don't see that thing on the AVL, the scientific AVL that has proven everything. Okay, it has proven everything. If it goes according to that AVL, you not seeing what you said, what Ntanzi said about Orlando, what about the engine garage? Does it mean that that stop that was not accounted for, that stop that these guys denied initially, and then later the explanation came in a form of, we did stop because of there was a mechanical problem. Do you understand? Are we saying right there, that there's stuff that happened and we admit to that torturing? If we say that because of this one not showing, we therefore are saying that that's a fabricated story. Are we saying that the other one that Ntanzi said, we went there, we stopped there, and AVL is corroborating that? Are we saying that indeed there was torturing there?
Take place.
And that's where Mngomezulu is quiet. Because in reality, there has never been anything that was said by these guys that has been debunked in a form of torturing. All that they are debunking is, okay, here you didn't stop, you're lying. Here you stopped. Nothing that says that you were not tortured. Clar. Be it the 18, the 15, the 16, you were not tortured. Nothing saying that.
So yeah, I hear you, Mr. Anonymous. I hear you. That could probably be the reason why Mr. Mngomezulu is sitting down, not objecting much. So yeah, Sibanda said, so you cannot rectify about the refusal to disrobe, meaning in that boardroom when he was asked to take his clothes off, he cannot refuse that. And Ntanzi said that he repeats, he never said that he refused to take off his clothes from his own mouth. He said, I wanted him to see that I did not have those tattoos or numbers from the jail, because to date I still don't have tattoos, and I don't have a number from a prison gang. So yeah, this was once more another way of like really throwing Mgomezulu under the bus. And I'm sure you have seen what happened to the lawyers who previously have represented these accused in particular. And unfortunately, one might not, this one as well, Mr. Mgomezulu, might not be off limits as well. One thing,
the behavior is more similar to that one. If you remember what happened and how it happened,
yes.
And then eventually there was media, there was news, there were people who were saying, we don't know so and so, we debunk so and so, and I mean, here we tell it as it is.
And one thing I also notice is that Tanzi might be, in the mind, he's all over the place, and I don't understand that. He doesn't have to trust the state. He doesn't have to trust the police in the position that he's in. And wholeheartedly, there's something naivety about him. Like he's a little bit naive in thinking that justice will prevail or something. I don't know. But he has this naivety, Yeah, and I'm worried about him. I honestly am. And Mr. Anonymous, you were right that had it been the other color, had it been of no color, he would definitely have to have been assessed before he continues with his testimony. That would definitely be the case with him. So Sibanda then said, now the statement taken from you by Colonel Rapadu, and Sibanda said, you recognize your signature, and Tanzi said yes. Thumbprint, and Tanzi said yes. And he said that he did not place his thumbprint at the office with Rapadu while Rapadu was doing the so-called confession, right? And he said, I'm not sure if it's mine or another one's was placed there. So he said he's not sure whose thumbprint that was. And it says that the person who contacted Colonel Rapadu is Gininda. Tanzi said that he did not know that. Asked if he was kept at the Pretoria police station on the 19th of June 2020, Tanzi said he does not know the name of the police station where he was kept. They wrote that it is that, so as he stayed in a lot of police stations, and if that is what they have written there, there's nothing he can say. So Sibanda then said, you were driven to that police station on a white Toyota Fortuner. Then can you confirm that at no stage on the 19th of June 2020 were you taken out of the Toyota Fortuner to another vehicle? And Tanzi said, no, those are lies. He repeated the question again, Mr. Sibanda, and Tanzi answered that he has never been moved to another vehicle on that day. So Sibanda then said, closer to the time noted, it was close to Koma or Makalima Street, Moroka police station at the time. Tanzi said that he never mentioned the names of the streets. Okay, he doesn't know the street names of where he was being transported. He was just a passenger. You understand? So the state is the one mentioning the names of those streets. And all that I did is that I would peep to see where was the motor vehicle. And that is when I would have knowledge of where I could be. And that is all I said. That's Ntanzi. While Ntanzi said that it is a lie that he was transported by Jonathan into the office of Colonel Rapadu. And Sibanda said, now of your version, which is not supported by anything, whether witnesses or AVL, you said that you were taken to this place with ATMs.
See, that's another
jab.
It's not a jab. It's a very foolish jab.
What's making it
goes
foolish?
back to my argument.
Yeah.
What of the circumstances where Ntanzi's theory is supported by this so-called AVL?
There's a lot. I mean, the Baragwana.
What are you saying about that?
The engine garage. He
What
has
are you
nothing
saying
to
then?
say about that.
So if it supports, then are you saying that, well, I admit that could have happened? Then why are we within a trial, within a trial? Because, I mean, already it seems as if to me, the language we are speaking is that if the AVL is not there, then there was no bitterization. If the AVL is there, then there is.
It is kind of bold, if you ask me, to dare to even say that after we saw the engine garage AVL, we saw the Baragwana AVL.
Do you understand?
They were really, really matching the description of, and a lot of people might be wondering why we are saying this. Please, there's Google Maps, ne? Give yourself time, go back to that testimony and look at the Google map. It will tell you everything.
I'm not. Yeah, well, yes, there is Google Map, yes. But, you know, we today we're doing this thing differently. I if something important comes on the comments, I look at it. Someone, which is Nico Maluleka, according to my opinion, this judge has been shown the door after this trial within a trial. Mark my words, cause of, he said to Advocate Msholon. My worry with that, it stems back from Mr. Afro, which we therefore later learned that actually he was better. Except he took his time and the case will
It was
drag.
very slow.
But other than that and many other things, he was better. Okay. My worry is that tantrum, if it is regarded as a wrong thing, kicks the judge out. It does the same as what the so-called sickness did with Maumel. Right? So where is this case going? Does that take us to 375?
Please, we'll have to start over again.
Do you understand?
Yes.
A new version, a new theory, a revamped version.
I can't take it anymore. No.
Because now there's gonna be a revamped one. We have seen that de novo, what de novo
There's
does.
new statements coming in again, and
It comes
new witnesses, and a more polished version of supporting the. No, I'm not.
And that's a problem
No.
that I have. If they allow this judge, under normal circumstances of saying that you behaved otherwise, then we think that you do not deserve to be on this bench and whatnot. Even the defense will wait and file at the end. You know why? Because they don't want de novo.
Another de novo. No.
De novo is not helping the defense. De novo is not helping the defense.
And I don't know if there will be a judge who will be willing to take over and just go forward.
He must continue. That whatever punishment that needs to be done, if there's a punishment that needs to be done, it must be done when this case is done. And that's my submission.
Okay.
We have seen what the judge is doing. It's okay. It's okay.
One would even say that maybe he's doing it on purpose. I don't know.
Hence, I'm saying that,
Maybe
you
he
know,
wants to
I
be
feel
kicked
like
out.
that's my feeling. I feel like when people get into this case, they're like, okay, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm the judge and whatnot. And then later on, this
They
case
find
gets
out.
into you. And then not they find out. No, I mean, no. Don't say things like that. This case gets into you. I don't want to say things direct.
Okay.
This case gets into you, however it gets into you, however way it gets into you. And then you're like, damn, I want out. So you throwing a tantrum and whatnot and what? No, they must let you throw those tantrum until Jesus comes back. Continue. Unless someone is sick, okay? That's the only way.
They launch the applications at the end of the trial.
Continue. We'll at the end of the day, we'll write down what this judge did 1, 2, 3. It allows us a chance of appealing also. Let it be. Just jot it down and say, okay, this is the case.
Yeah. I get for it.
So all that is said is alleged. Now I'm gonna say that after the assertion by Amen.
Yes, we are speculating. NB, please. We are speculating.
Yes.
Everything is alleged. We're not saying that that is exactly what's happening. It's what's happening in our heads. So yes, Sibanda then said, now the version that you're saying or putting is not supported by either a witness or the AVL. You said that you were taken to this place with ATMs. You said that there was some dumping at the back. You said something with regards to papers. And I'm like, when did he talk about papers?
They want to put that theory of saying that was a dumping and as if that was what Ntanzi said completely. It's a dumping.
And then Tanzi said, yes, I was speaking about something that I saw in front of me happening. As I'm standing here, even I'm testifying, I'm informing the court of what I saw. It was your evidence, said Sibanda, that the man that you picked at Chris Hani Barakwanath gave you certain documentation. Well, Ntanzi said that I said the papers were given by Sergeant Mabena and Mohani in an envelope. Those are the same papers. That is where I was beaten and forced to sign the papers by force. Sibanda asked Ntanzi if it was not his testimony that the documents were handed to him by Brigadier Kininda. Now, when did Ntanzi say that those documents of Colonel Rapadu were handed to him by Brigadier Kininda? I feel like Sibanda is confusing situations.
Is that confusion?
Is confusing.
If you ask me, what percentage do you think Sibanda's line of questioning in terms of what was said would you give? I would give it 40%. 60% comes, 60% comes from what could be made, in my opinion.
Yeah, you'll have to sit down and read.
You'll have to sit down and you like collaborate what was said because there's a record, and then not that one on court, this one of SAPC and the rest.
Well, Ntanzi said that the papers were given to him inside the car with a brown, big envelope as they were traveling. Colonel Rapadu kept taking out the papers and reading them. Ntanzi said that he didn't know what was written in those papers. And according to Sibanda, Colonel Rapadu completed the document in his own handwriting and signed it. Now, how sure must we be that that was his handwriting that wrote that?
Which handwriting?
They're saying that Colonel Rapadu, this isn't Ntanzi's version. He's saying that time of the Barakwana, when he first saw Colonel Rapadu for the first time and Colonel Rapadu got into the car, this isn't Ntanzi's version. Then he got inside the car. Mohani and Mabena handed Colonel Rapadu a brown envelope that had papers inside. So this is before another torturing session that they were going to have with him, to have Ntanzi sign those documents. That first confession.
Thank you, Isaiah.
Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you. Highly appreciate it. Thank you. So yes, he's saying that before the first confession that he had to sign, there's Colonel Rapadu Barakwana with the lady and the child, and he's handing the keys to the lady and the child. He assumed it's his wife. He gets into the car. And then as he gets into the car, Sergeant Mabena and Mohani, front seat, they give him this big brown envelope. Remember, he's sitting there, he's handcuffed. Right?
Yes.
And he's like, I'm looking at Colonel Rapadu. Colonel Rapadu opens this envelope. He looks at these papers. He's reading these papers. And yeah, you understand?
Remember that what Ntanzi said, these people are above our pay grade. There's nothing we can do. When we are called by the higher people, You do what the higher people tell you. And that's my opinion.
And Kana Rapadu is the one who was the commissioner of oaths who took the first confession of Bongani Ntanzi. The so-called confession of Bongani Ntanzi, the first one, before he was taken to the magistrate Kurnia. So he's saying that is what happened, that whole Barakwana situation.
Which, with all the respect that we give these people, which also we should look at, that question of why did Tanzi have to go to two people
to
confess? Why?
And also, Sibanda is putting it on the record to say that is Rapadu's handwriting. I'm asking, how certain must we be that is the case? He's speaking like it's a fact, tried and tested. They know what Kena Rapadu's handwriting looks like. Wabana Sibanda's cross-examination, Mr. Anonymous. That's why I'm like, I don't know. But having him as a prosecutor and you want justice, I don't know. I'm not sure. Ntanzi then said he does not know what he was writing or completing when he was seated with Brigadier Gininda. So he's saying that at some point, Brigadier Gininda joined. They had a stop somewhere. And he saw from the car behind that Brigadier Gininda was there. And Kana Rapadu went to Brigadier Gininda and they were behind Brigadier Gininda's white BMW that Brigadier Gininda said he doesn't have, he's never had. Right.
Yeah.
And he said, if I had seen him, I would have said that I saw him write on a certain paper. That's what he's saying. Therefore, that's not what I saw him. He said, I saw him writing on this particular document. He did not see him write on that particular document. So at some stage, he was speaking to Brigadier Gininda Kena Rapadu. And Tanzi said that they sat next to each other at the back of the car. Gininda sat next to him and they were talking. He then came to me, Tanzi, saying that he went to him and told me that I don't want to tell him the truth. I'm making him a fool. This is Brigadier Gininda to Tanzi. So then Sibanda then asked, they were sitting behind which vehicle? And Tanzi said it was a white BMW.
That's a little more.
He said, I told him Zulu, but he was not the one driving. He said, Memohola, even how he chooses to address them with so
the
much
respect he's giving them. It's like he knows these people, he has known them for years. He's just disappointed now that they are doing this thing.
Or maybe he's just generally scared of them. Maybe he's petrified of them.
Yes, but this is the time where you fight for your life.
I don't think he understands that this is the time to fight for his life. He doesn't have to be in a hurry for that to finish. Just fight for your life. Don't be shaken. You understand? You just said Mohola, There's no need to be addressing them with respect anymore. They cannot do anything to you anymore if they did anything to you prior.
When I looked at Mohula, I was surprised that they call her Mam Fundis.
She doesn't look anything like Mam Fundis. No, she doesn't.
I was so surprised. I was like, hey man.
She looks like an international slave mama.
That's our opinion of yours. We're not saying that's
in my opinion.
Yes.
Yes. So, but he was not the one driving. Mem Mohula was the one driving.
Why wouldn't I call Mem? I mean, I think they are same age, aren't they? Not unless you know something we don't know. You respect her because of maybe the respected person, that maybe there's a respected person that is dating or husband. I don't know.
Well, Mohola denied the BMW and said that she started driving a white BMW in 2021 while she was testifying. And she said that it was a new model. That model that she's driving was not out yet in 2020. Brigadier Kininda also said that he has never had a white BMW. So the more the cross-examine Ntanzi, the more he reveals new information, in my opinion. So, and
but that information was there. It's just that maybe it has not been dealt with in a trial within a trial.
Okay. So I'm not talking about the information. I'm talking about this information of Rapadu entering the car with documents in a brown envelope. And
Yes.
at some point they sit behind, or they were sitting behind the white BMW. And then as they were sitting behind, they were talking. He said, Kena Rapadu was not writing anything. So if those documents are the ones that he was told to sign as a form of a confession, when did Kena Rapadu write? When? And another thing, isn't it interesting that Miss Krunier had a laptop while she was taking down that confession? I was expecting it to be with a pen and a paper. Why was the laptop there? Because she even recorded the whole thing. That is very interesting. Her statement was written with a pen and a paper, but she had a laptop in there taking the confession.
You know how many people say that, why did they refuse that evidence of recorded?
The recording, yes.
Hey, we are living in a world of technology.
Anything.
World of technology.
There's
anything
AI.
and everything. We have had, who's this guy, the richest guy, speaking without speaking. You know those adverts that they play
those
here?
adverts that they keep popping up,
That
guys.
keep popping
Beware of those adverts.
It's not our business because they make
You'll
money
be
for us.
convinced.
They make money for us. We shouldn't be doing that. But all I'm saying is that, I mean, we have seen such things.
You'll be convinced that this is Elon Musk talking.
I don't know if YouTube is going to allow us to do that. But yeah.
But yes, AI now is becoming quite intense. So
why would you record for starters? Why would you record? I mean, we are not there yet. Apparently, in South Africa, we don't record things. Why, when would you want to record for argument's sake?
And even recording without even letting the person know that you were recording them. That's another.
I mean, all you need is a voice, and
That's
then from
weird.
there you align the voice, and then you talk over the voice.
Why
and the
are you
voice
hiding your recordings? Why are you going around hiding, recording people in secret and not letting them know that you are recording them? And yet your evidence need to be submitted in court all of a sudden. That was very suspicious. So I don't blame the defense for
No,
refusing.
they had to. They had to
to.
refuse that thing.
They had to.
They had to. It was a downfall.
Sure. Then Sibanda said, at what time did Kena Rapadu enter the vehicle? And Ramasipilo objected to say that over and over again, the witness has said that they did not have the same time, or they didn't have the watch on them. And the question keeps getting repeated over and over and over and over. And Sibanda said that the witness can simply say that it was morning or evening or afternoon. So the judge told Sibanda to proceed. Ntanzi said that he did not see Rapadu in the morning. He saw him during the afternoon, where they picked him up from then and took him to where he did not know where they were going. So Sibanda then asked, is there any stage when Colonel Rapadu spoke to you? And Ntanzi said that there is nothing he spoke to me about because he had everything pertaining to me. He never asked me anything. So Sibanda said, so you are saying that this pro forma and this statement is something that the police came with already prepared? And Ntanzi said, as they were seated down, I don't know what they were doing, whether they were writing or not. I don't know about it. All of this document belongs to them. The only thing that belongs to me is the signature when I was being assaulted to put it on that document. So Sibanda then said, so what's written here? You have nothing to do with it. And Tanzi said, yes, I have nothing to do with it. If it was completed by me, it would have been in isiZulu. I can write in isiZulu. Which is a valid point. I mean, if someone is going to confess, is it a train smash to make them write their own confession?
And
Doesn't
then
it
you
help make your
transcribe from
case
that.
stronger? And if you transcribe, but don't shred or destroy the original one that they wrote in their handwriting. I mean, wouldn't that help the state's case? I mean, but then anything is possible, because what could end up happening when we talk about it like this, it could end up happening that
Here
they are
comes this
forced.
Zulu statement that was written by Tanzi.
You understand? Anything can happen. We can
Hey,
talk
this
like
case-
this, and then the statement of, it can be done, where literally he's being tubed and he's writing the statement. We don't know. Anything is possible. Anything is
This
possible.
case
in
is
this
like
country.
a baby, a newborn baby. It crawls, it does everything, and eventually it will stand and walk. All I'm saying is that it grows as time grows.
It does. It honestly does.
And things
does.
evolve around this case. I mean, I've never seen a case like this. I know that cases have been investigated and whatnot. Like if you look at Magudumana's case, before everything, now I think, I don't know, because now
Wishy-wishy.
people have been put there to go and investigate and whatnot. And that's a story for another day. But all I'm saying is that this one eats purity, it grows faster.
Well, Ntanzi said that he was assaulted up until the point where he signed that document, where he felt that he was human and he was tired and accepted defeat. He said, "I did not sign freely and voluntarily according to my will." Then Sibanda asked, "Can you detail the assault on the day in question?" The same question that he asked yesterday, by the way, he asked it again. We are tired, Sibanda.
That one is not gonna listen. In fact, that one, if you ask me, what I saw is that he's waiting for questions from Balowi, so he will ask these nonsensical, these questions.
Let's say
that,
baseless
questions.
baseless questions, because you can't
And
be asking
that's
one
obvious.
question
That's
10,000 times
that's
and
my
expect
assumption.
a different answer. You're not gonna get the answer that you want
Which is
out of Ntanzi.
which has no basis. My assumption, which has no basis.
Then Tanzi then said, "I'm referring to being tubed with a plastic over my head. They had held my hands. Buthelezi, and the other one, I cannot recall his name, who was light-skinned, but the interpreter said white." And that's when I realized I needed to sign, as the plastic would be taken off, and I was asked whether I'm going to sign or end up dying. And what was I to do? What was he to do? What do you do? Do you accept death, or do you sign just to stay alive? According to how his version of events occurred, what do you do, So Ntanzi then said, "All that I did was sign. If I was not forced to sign, I would not have signed." And Sibanda then said, "Okay, you said you were tubed. What else was done to you?" And Tanzi said, when he tried getting up, they held him down, which is when he started testifying. He said, "I said what happened to me, I would not wish on anyone. That is why I uttered the words that God bless them." And Sibanda said, "It's fine, I heard you." So all this was happening in the presence of Kena Rapadu. And Tanzi said he was there. He is a big police officer, Poisel cool. What can I say? He was there. And Sibanda asked, "Who approached you for a signature?" And Tanzi said that they came with Brigadier Kininda and said, "Are you going to sign? You didn't want to. We are leaving you so that they can end you. They can literally kill you." So when I said, "Give them to me, I will sign," he handed them over. What was I to do? And Sibanda then said, did Kena Rapadu utter any words? And Tanzi said, he was holding the document saying, sign here. There was nothing I could say no to. He never did anything else. He never asked me anything, even my name. He was in possession of my ID document. And to me it was, remember, they searched the premises without a search warrant. His premises, they searched. And where did the ID come from?
And they were searching for what he was wearing in 2014.
In 2014, and then they found a black plastic bag with ammunition. So then Sibanda said no other words he uttered. And Ntanzi said, perhaps there was, I'm human, I forget. But a lot of things he was asking was in relation to this paper that he was holding. It'll be interesting to know what document that he was holding, but we will never know. He already testified, and he said that that did not happen. Well, Sibanda then said a lot of things he did not ask you pertaining to that document. Yeah. I would like to know whether that document also has a heart condition as well. Just out of my own interest. Well, then Tanzi said, I am maintaining a lot of these things. I don't know what I'm agreeing to is my signature. I was forced here. And Sibanda said a version was put on your behalf that Kana Rapadu inquired from police considering your condition and asked that they check if you are still alive. This is the part, Mr. Anonymous, you were asking me about. He says that the way they were beating him, Kana Rapadu came and then asked to check that if that guy was still alive. So Ntanzi said, I won't be able to respond on behalf of what Mr. Mgomezulu said. I believe that was not what I said, as I did not mention it in front of this court. Another attack on Mgomezulu's profession. You understand? It just feels that way. Then Sibanda read the record, and Sibanda asked Ntanzi if he understood the impact of asking this question to the witness, meaning that he was beaten to an extent where he had to ask if one was still alive. And Tanzi said he would not be able to answer on behalf of Mgomezulu. He also spoke of a blue jean he was wearing, and he said that the court would have seen how dirty that jean was.
Do you see that he could have said that day? Why does he feel the need to explain how the jean was dirty and all that?
But then why do this, Ntanzi? Just say, yes, I did tell him. Those were my instructions. Kana Rapadu did ask if I was still alive, the way I was being tubed and whatnot. I passed out at some point. What is wrong with saying that? What is wrong with saying that? I mean, tubing, there's a possibility of losing your consciousness a bit. I mean, it's oxygen is prohibited from accessing your brain. People have died from that, actually.
We definitely are aware of that.
Even the shoes that I was wearing, he said, if they had not taken them, my heart is sore. My heart is torn as to how I was treated. I am putting it to you, said in Sibanda, that what you told the court is improbable. It did not happen. You are just making up a story. And Tanzi said it happened. He told the prosecutor that he was not there. You were not there. He's speaking of papers that he's holding. He was not there where he said, I'm qualifying, because the AVL record does not locate the particular motor vehicle that you were transported in on that particular day. This is Sibanda also twisting the AVL record thingies. Again, like I don't understand. I don't get it. His obsession with his AVL that he doesn't even understand. Why is he putting it like it's a fact? The car did go around engine garage, did it not? It did. It had a GPS unlock under the bridge at Baragwanath. So then he continued to say after that he went to a particular police station. What happened there? And Tanzi said that when they got to that police station, they stopped. He said that he got out and turned the other way with Mohani. Before turning, then this man arrived and he did not see from where he came from. That is when we went back to the Fortuna, and I was then asked to put my fingerprint. And as I put the fingerprint on, then Baloyi whispered something to Sibanda. I noticed that whole whispering situation. And when Sibanda asked the question, he said, when you signed the other documents, were you assaulted? And Ramosipili stood to object, saying that the question is vague. Can he specify the other documents that he's talking about, that the client signed when they were assaulted? And Sibanda said, I presented to you notice of rights yesterday that you signed at Pretoria North. Tanzi then said, before that court, I never said I was assaulted while signing that. We are still talking about this document in front of me. That's the one Yakena Rapad. So Sibanda had moved from that one to a pro forma, that, and not making Tanzi aware that he's transitioning now. He's moving away from the one Yakena Rapadu to the notice of rights that was done. I think it's in Rustenburg now.
Yeah.
So he asked, why is it necessary for them to assault you just to sign this document that you didn't even know the contents? And Tanzi said it would be best if that question was directed to the person who told him to sign. Sibanda claimed that the document could have been given to him to sign without being assaulted. And Tanzi said that if that person read out the document to him, then he would not have signed it. This letter, it has nothing to do with me, he said. Then Sibanda said Ntanzi was contradicting himself, because if the document was read to him and he refused to sign, then he would have agreed with him. I don't know what he meant by this. I'm just as confused as you are, guys. But that's Sibanda, confusing the hell out of everyone. But it was never read. He doesn't know what was contained in it. If it was read back to you and you refuse to sign, then I would understand. And I'm like, what is happening? I don't understand this question. Well, Ntanzi uyaphendula shem. He should have said, I don't understand your question. I don't understand what you mean. But Ntanzi said he still insisted that he has nothing to do with that letter. The owner is the one who knows what is in it. Ntanzi said that there were other papers. They said he did not sign. They made him sign them. So after, I remember even him narrating the thumbprint situation. It did not happen at Fro Crunier's room 2. It had to happen as Kangeni, in the fields, in the open field. Yes. Then Ntanzi said, I repeat, I have nothing to do with this document. And Sibanda said, so all these documents were signed in Orlando. And Ntanzi said there are certain documents that were not signed in Orlando. That is why he was taken to the police station to sign. And Sibanda said, so you were not assaulted at the police station. Ntanzi said, I had already signed some of them. Why would they need to assault me again? So after the short adjournment, court resumed and Sibanda took Ntanzi back to what happened at the abandoned ATMs. He asked him to describe the person who has gripped Ntanzi. Ntanzi said that it was a light-skinned person, but the interpreter said white person with a big body who was wearing a mask. Asked if he was still in cuffs, and Tanzi said that he was cuffed at the back, and when he was made to sign, the right hand cuff was removed. Sibanda then asked were the fingerprints taken to Orlando, and Tanzi said yes, the ink print was there. Sibanda, who was in possession of that item, he asked. Tanzi said Mabena opened it and said I must put my thumbprint. So Sibanda now turned back to the AVL, and he said it shows that the vehicle went back to Moroka at 1616. Can you comment on whether the assault happened before this time? And Tanzi said that he did not have the time and he will not be able to comment on the time. He said, if I had a watch, I'd be able to tell a better version. So Sibanda focused on Phokeng now. Ntanzi said Mr. Mokhane went in and spoke to the police officers, and then they went to the vehicles. The car then drove off. He said, I was not told that they were going to my place, but I saw the vehicle entering the townships. Sibanda asked him whether ammunition was found when police searched his place in Freedom Park Northwest, and Tanzi said, I was not there when they searched, but I know they didn't find anything. They're lying. According to Ntanzi, he was left in the car when police went into the house and came back with a black plastic bag which they said contained ammunition. Sibanda asked Ntanzi that if nothing was found, why was he facing another charge of unlawful possession of ammunition, which is currently in Phokeng Magistrate's Court? And Tanzi said they are lying. I don't even see what was inside that plastic bag. When I asked them to open it and show me what's inside, they refused. I said he was charged without ever seeing that ammunition. So he's saying that even when they did come back from his place, Mr. Anonymous, they came back with this black plastic bag, and they were not showing him what was inside that black plastic bag. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Mogola previously testified that he was in their company when they went back to the place to look for a hoodie that he had won, was won by one of the alleged intruders in 2014, 26th of October at Veiws. And Sergeant Mogola said that the hoodie was not found, but they found ammunition. And Tanzi did not at any stage deny that it was his. That was Mogola's version. Now Tanzi is saying, they just went back to my place without even telling me that they are going back to my place. And they came back. They left me in the car. I think that's what he literally said. They left him in the car. They went to his place. They came back with a black plastic bag. They didn't even show him what was inside that black plastic bag. That's his version.
Yes.
So Ntanzi also said that Gininda and Mogola did not tell him that they were looking for a hoodie. He first saw in court that they were looking for a hoodie when they were testifying. That's what Ntanzi is saying.
Yes.
Mabena took the paper, the charge sheet, and told him that if he didn't appear in court by Monday, then it would mean that he was found not guilty. Why would Mabena say that? Do you think they looked at Ntanzi and they literally saw a fool? Like, why would you say that? Why would you advise someone to not show up to court?
Hey.
And tell them that if they don't show up to court, they will be found not guilty. That is mad business. Then he said, I asked him where is the initial document where I was charged on the 16th of June. And to date, he says he has not received a response. Asked if it was Sergeant Mogola and Mokhane, Ramasipili stood to object to ask what would that version be out to them when Mabena is deceased and they are not privy to such a conversation. Sibanda said he will move along. Yeah. Sibanda then said, were you forced to sign the document? And Tanzi said, I was not forced. He just told me that I was being charged for ammunition. And I asked, how did he gain entry into my house? And who did he go into my house with? He was telling me I was not asking him. He was telling me that he is charging me for possession of ammunition. Sibanda said that there was no pressure for him to sign, and Tanzi said that I was being told what was I supposed to do. I believe here in court I never said Mokhane threatened me. And it's true, he never said Mokhane threatened him.
Yes.
So in this instance, he's just saying that Mokhane is the one who told me that I've got a possession of ammunition, and he slapped me with a paper, and I just signed it, you know. I did not feel like not signing it, you know. So Sibanda then went back to Damping area with ATMs, Phokeng, and Tanzi said that he was never taken to the police cells in Phokeng. Now I found this also very interesting, you guys, when he said that he was never ever taken to the cells when he was taken to Phokeng police station. That's in Rustenburg.
Yes.
He said he went to the occurrence book of Phokeng, this is Sibanda, and it says 0040 Saturday 20 June 2020, suspect detained. Sergeant Mohani of the National Cold Case Investigation detained cell. They gave the cell number, and then Phokeng case 118 of 6 of 20. Read and understood to the accused. Ntanzi still insisted that he never entered the cells of Phokeng. The document he signed sitting in the car, that's what he's saying, that Mohani came back, he signed the document in the car from the Phokeng police station. Ntanzi says, I was still in the car, and the door was opened for him to sign. He said they opened the door so that he could sign that document with Mabena sitting at the front seat. So the register also said that he was in the cells in Rustenburg, according to Sibanda, and Tanzi said that he knows Phokeng.
Can you imagine the situation where someone says, Emily, at 6 minutes to 1, you were in Cape Town?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been to Cape Town.
I'm saying, but Emily, there is a ticket of an aeroplane that you took at.
Can I see that ticket?
They show
I have
you
no
the
idea
ticket.
what you're talking about.
They show you the ticket.
Okay, I look at the ticket.
And then what? You see your name, you see everything. What do you do?
However, I've never been to Cape Town. Is
You
there
see.
CCTV camera footage of me at the airport going to Cape Town?
It was
Because
blurry.
this can be fabricated.
It was
We all
blurry.
have printers.
It was blurry. We couldn't see you.
It was blurry, you couldn't see me. Oh, I denounce this ticket. It's not mine.
All I'm trying to put here is that
I wish I could be this calm in situation. But promise you I'm not.
that's what Ntanzi is going through.
I would probably be like Ntanzi as well, guys. I know myself. I'm a hot mess when I'm under pressure like that. No. I wish I could respond like this, though. I'm like, no, that's not my ticket. I never bought a ticket. Can you show me the transaction that bought this ticket? Was it bought in cash? Or was it bought with a card?
What we are watching here, if you ask me, is what you normally watch in movies. If you watch your CIA movies and all those movies that you would... it's what we watch in movies. But it's happening.
And
there.
then the funny thing is that Mohani never testified on these entries. That's the funny part.
Now I
never testified on
understand.
them.
I understand. When I told you, Emily, that I enjoy watching those crime channel,
Yes, I did stuff like that.
it sounded like could be a psycho, but hey, you need to know everything before you face it. If you were to face every loophole, and also that element of being calm in a situation because you have seen it.
Yeah.
You know.
Now that I'm seeing Tanzi, I see Bia did well.
Yes, Bia
Bia
did well.
I think we underestimated.
Tanzi is telling the
did
truth.
very
Tanzi helped the I would say he helped the court by remembering the many places while Sibia was short-sighted there. Tanzi, but when it comes to now, I think Sibia is more solid.
It is so calm.
Or maybe Sibia didn't want to talk about a lot of places. That's why we thought Sibia does not know that much. He just confide his. You remember what I told you, if you want to tell something properly, don't make it long.
Yeah, you did tell me that many times.
Say
that was Bia's approach to the situation.
Say what you need to say and get out of it.
And his cross-examination lasted for how many days? One? Was it 1 or 2 days?
1.5, I think.
Yeah. And then he was done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, he said the register also said that he was in the cells in Rustenburg, and Tanzi said that he knows Pukeng. It is where he certifies his documents. He said there's a glass where you can see inside the police station. And he said that sitting from the car, what he saw through that glass was Mohani and Mohola. They had books with them, Mr. Anonymous, and they were sitting in chairs and writing.
Like they are writing notes.
Later, he was transferred to Primrose at 00:45. 00:40 is when he's booked in. 00:45 is when he's booked out. So, prisoner transferred to Primrose SAPS in Johannesburg from Pukeng. So, he was literally booked in the cell for 5 minutes or what? And then they put him in a cell for 5 minutes.
For record.
Sibanda can't
Let the record speaks for itself.
Sibanda, what is happening? Balance us real quickly. Like, what is going on? Why did you need to bring this up? Sibanda then said the most important thing about the entries that no injuries were noted. And Tanzi said that he was never asked. They just wrote what they wrote. So Sibanda said, if you were asked what injuries were you going to state them? And Tanzi said, I was going to tell them about the plastic placed over my head and my wrists that were swollen, handcuffed. He said he was handcuffed for quite some time and they kept swerving him and pulling him at the back. So, moving from one place to another with handcuffs, being handcuffed at the back, And Primrose OB entry said 4:30. He did not state whether it was in the morning or the evening, but it said 4:30. And Warrant Officer Mukwena received Pukeng case 118 from Sergeant Mohani. Ntanzi said that each time he would arrive at a police station, they would have him wait in the car. And Sibanda said that the entries at Primrose were made by independent officers. Ramasipili objected, saying that they were made by Mohani, and the judge said no, not at Primrose. And Ntanzi said that he never saw those police officers, and there was no police officer who came to him to ask him if he had any complaints. Sibanda said that even in Pukeng, Mohani is not the one who made the entries, he only signed them. So please let us note this. We have Sibanda saying that for Primrose, there were different independent police officers who came and accepted Ntanzi, and then also at Pukeng, they were different, right? And then he's saying that Mohone is not the one, Mohani is not the one who made the entries. He only signed. And the judge told him, to be fair to the witness, which policeman annotated that. So the judge wanted to know who made those OB entries.
Look at the confidence when he's asking this question. He's sure that he's asking it and he knows the nitty-gritties of that question. When he's asked a simple thing from that page, who annotated?
Sibanda said that he will check the original OB. So we're going to assume that the one that he had and he kept lifting was not the original OB. And I don't understand why it's not there.
What does copy. Not the original AB,
I don't
the
get
OB it. Does? If there's no name, you print that thing. It doesn't have a name. Why are you asking it as if there's a name of a police that annotated that was independent? This guy, he's got a call.
The extract that he has does not have that officer. And I kept asking myself, what extract? So you are reading an OB entry or OB entries that are incomplete before a witness. Guys, hi, gag. So what was wrong with him?
Did you see how the judge
original
dealt with it? Sibanda, no. People are going to be saying, hey, lady judge. Yeah, very serious. Hey, lady judge, hey. hey, we judge, I bo right to Shelikai.
Hayi
If you ask me,
ngampela, hayi
you were fine. Uzikhulisela if you have
enjoying
a
your
grandchild,
retirement.
enjoying your retirement, you are earning in any case.
Yeah.
We still pay you in any
Yeah.
case. Chill out at home, man.
You know, it
Come out of retirement and come back here and give us hoo-ha. Tinasi, we are a generation that can speak. Yeah, we are done with that thing of umntu omdala phela akatshelwa. Phela la impilo zabantu ezisikhuluma ngazo.
Hey, Sibanda went true, impilo zabantu, to people's lives here. Sibanda then went back to the 22nd of June 2020 when he was taken to Tlhabani Magistrate Court from Primrose. He said that on the day there was no prisoner who was taken into the court. It was only the police officers who went to court. Mabena came back with a particular person. He took down the window and that person asked if Ntanzi was the person. Then they went back inside. Ntanzi said that he later found out that that person Mabena came with was actually the prosecutor of that case in Tlhabani. So it was during COVID times, and there was a tape cordoning off that court, and then he was sitting in the car. But the paperwork that Sibanda said that Ntanzi made a court appearance. He entered inside the court. Everything happened procedurally, and
kuyisona ungafundi yazi kwesinye isikhathi yebo yona le mfundo is kaka if you ask me, but how
it's needed to defend
yourself.
It's needed. Ntanzi said that he later found out that it was the prosecutor, and Sibanda read the document of the court proceedings, and it said that Ntanzi wanted legal aid. Ntanzi said that he left the car and he would not be able to point at that particular legal aid representative. It also read that the accused was kept in custody with no bail. And Tanzi said that he did not have bail at the time, and it was never told to him because he never entered inside that courtroom. He was sitting in the car. And Sibanda also asked Ntanzi to repeat yet again what happened at the dentist's office. Ntanzi still repeated that story. We all know it. If you watch Mzansi Reality, we know the story. I'm not going to go through it, but I will go through what I would consider new information. He said that after the doctor was done checking him for that gold tooth, Buthelezi took him, right, back to the car. And Ntanzi said that the doctor followed him to the car to make him sign those documents. Ntanzi said that he did not even know Dr. Hlokwa's name. He first heard his name in court. Besides checking his teeth, the doctor asked him for the number of the person that he lived with, and he gave him those numbers. Now remember, he also testified that Dr. Hlokwa was speaking through this nurse who could speak Zulu. He wasn't directly speaking to him.
Yes.
So yeah, it was kind of a weird situation. And he said that it was because of Corona that they had to quickly leave the premises and he had to wait in the car. Because it's also very interesting because when you visit a doctor or any health facility, you do not get your feedback immediately. There's some waiting that happens. You understand what I'm saying? You have to wait, Nyana, for them to fill in whatever they are feeling. Sometimes they will fill it in front of you. It depends really on So with 2020 and what was happening in the situation, nobody wanted to be close to Yakumbula, social distancing, all of that thing.
Yes.
So he said he was taken to the car because of that whole thing. And then the doctor came with the assistant to to make him sign the dental report once he was done. So in the post-lunch sitting, Advocate Sibanda started with the medical doctor report or the medical dental report from Dr. Hlokwa. And Ntanzi said that he was made to sign the report outside of the practice. Advocate Sibanda said that this was never put to Dr. Hlokwa. And Tanzi said even the medical examination did not last that long. He said for about 30 minutes, right? And he said he was checked and told to remain outside. It was during COVID-19 pandemic. And Sibanda said you did not give them an opportunity to ask the doctor why he made you sign from the outside. And as he's asking this question, I'm like, how is this helping you, Mr. Sibanda, prove that the assault did not take place?
It never.
How is whether he signed outside or inside helping the situation here? I don't understand. Then Tanzi said, I believe I have answered this. Sibanda said on this document, the doctor says the person who was being examined reported that he was admitted in hospital in 2014 following a mining accident. And Tanzi said that he's never been admitted to hospital. And Sibanda said Exhibit JJ from Magistrate Grunier also contains the same information. Tanzi said perhaps they were told by someone, but it's definitely not him. And Sibanda said, so how does Exhibit V1J and JJ say the same thing? Ntanzi said, I will also ask the defense to bring my file from work, okay, because he has a medical file. He works at the mine. Every 6 months, he goes through an extensive medical examination before he goes underground. So he's saying that he's had the same doctor for a couple of years. So if they allow his lawyer to go and get that medical report so that he can prove that he's never been in a mining accident and he doesn't have a heart condition. So Sibanda then said there's only one person in this case who saw Magistrate Grunier and Dr. Hlokwa, and that is you. And Tanzi said the state must remember that I never requested to go to that lady of no color or to the doctor. He says, I never made that request. These are the people who were brought by the state. They could have asked the doctor who checked me regularly because I have medical. He did not say he has medical aid, Mr. Interpreter. He said he has a medical report, a medical file. Medical aid is an guy, Mr. Interpreter. Way. Sibanda then said an impression was created before this court that you were not taken to court but taken to the doctor, and that is why this medical report was introduced. Ntanzi then said, I believe I have explained that the place we went to had a safety tape and that the only person that entered the place was Mohani. Ntanzi goes on to say that he thought he was signing the document to confirm that he had been checked to see whether he had a gold tooth or not. Ntanzi said that his mouth was examined and he was asked to go outside, where a lady came and asked him to sign as they were done. Sibanda then said the court heard that when you entered the consultation room, the police officers remained outside with the door slightly opened as a safety precaution. And Tanzi said that is not true. I'm talking about the people that were in the room. And Sibanda said, let's do a simple exercise. This is a question that requires a yes or no answer. Are you a smoker? And Tanzi said, ever since I was born, I've never been a smoker. Sibanda then said, Doctor, so literally he was going through the medical questionnaire, the one that Dr. Hlokwa did that we didn't ask for. And I don't think Tanzi asked for either, because if I were to go to a dentist and they make me fill a questionnaire before they actually do, I'm walking out of that dentist. I am.
Yes.
And this case is teaching me that as well. That some things we shouldn't be tolerating. Okay. So the doctor wrote the same thing here. He said, Sibanda, and Tanzi said, I've never smoked in my entire life. Okay. And Sibanda said, how would the doctor have known that you are not a smoker? Did the dentist assess his teeth to reveal that he does not smoke? If not, then I'm not interested. Okay? At this point, I'm like, these questions, Mtakaba. These questions, you're speaking as if the doctor was able to tell from examining his teeth that he's a non-smoker. And just because it is so, then it means, no, it's a questionnaire. It's a questionnaire that anybody can fill on his behalf.
Yebo.
Ntanzi then said that he does not know where the doctor got that information. And Sibanda said, are we saying that the doctor is a prophet? And Ramasipili stood to object, saying that if we avoid sarcasm, we will finish this evidence in chief. Ntanzi said that the only question that he answered was that of Lebogile Petang. So he said they only asked him about who is your next of kin, who's the person that we can call should anything happen to you. And he gave them Lebogile Petang, that's his girlfriend. He gave them their numbers, because they could see that he was arrested. So they're like, who can we call in case something happens to you or something? So he continued to say, Sibanda, that have you ever had an operation? And Tanzi said, ever since I was born, no. And Sibanda, that's where the doctor wrote here. And Tanzi repeated that he has never given him that answer. Sibanda then said, have you smoked illegal substances? And Tanzi said, I've never. And Sibanda said, see, the doctor wrote the same thing. Yes, Sibanda said this is the information that would fall in your personal knowledge.
He just happens to be a provider of it, eh? In some cases, somewhere, we haven't forgotten that at some point it was linked to the substances.
At some point, yes, he was.
But now, if we say it now, it will sound like you are just hallucinating, right?
Yes. They
As
did
I said,
say
this
that
case
accused number two.
grows.
They tried to gaslight Ngome Zulu there to say that was never mentioned, and he had to go all the way to the record to actually find it, and he found it. They did mention that he had an illegal substance case as well, just like accused number 1. Then Tanzi said, a person who drinks and smokes, you'd be able to see them. I had nothing to do with this. Sibanda said that he must avoid sarcasm as well. And Sibanda said, let's continue. Have you ever been pregnant? And Ntanzi said, I don't think anyone like myself would fall pregnant. And Sibanda said, do you have TB or lung disease? Ntanzi said, I've never had any of these, so I don't know. Since it's been a while since I went to the medical, I don't know. And I keep saying that I had nothing to do with this. And Sibanda said, are you on medication? And Ntanzi said, no. Sibanda then said, the doctor says no. Ramasipili stood to object that the witness has already said that they have nothing to do with this questionnaire, but he is still continuing. And Sibanda said that this is the only way to obtain whether the accused is telling the truth, and the judge allowed it, okay? He allowed this drag fest to continue. So Ntanzi said, what I like is that it is the doctor that wrote this to me, that wrote this, not me. And Sibanda asked him about the document that was the dental report. Now we moved from the questionnaire to the dental report. And Sibanda said, I never said you wrote this, and the doctor wrote this from your answers. Let's now focus on the signature. Tanzi confirmed the signatures contained in the documents are his. And Sibanda said, so you signed on both documents without being assaulted or anything? And Tanzi said, I've already said that I was to confirm that the doctor had checked for the gold tooth. Sibanda now takes him through the rest of the examination as recorded by the doctor. Everything recorded as normal. And Sibanda said, from here, the doctor said that there were no injuries. He's trying it. They won't let go of this dentist. Then Tanzi said, I would like to know when the doctor checked me for all these things, because he came with something like a steel and looked through my teeth. He even said a light at some point. He said that he only checked his teeth, which makes sense. That's what a dentist does, you know? So Sibanda then said, so you forgot that you told this court that the doctor came with something that had light. And Tanzi said, yes, he came with that, an object that resembled a spoon to check my teeth. He also ran the same thing, that light under my tongue. And poor Ntanzi, by this time, he was getting all worked up. You could tell that he's getting tired of these baseless questions. It's like they honestly wanted him to crack or lose his mind or something. It's like they're driving him to insanity, you know? So if Tumelo and Lorraine and Mtogo went through this type of cross-examination, I think we would have had the truth by now. What do you guys think?
I think so.
Well, Sibanda then said, did you tell Dr. Hlokwa that you were assaulted? And Tanzi said, he didn't ask me. Then Sibanda said, did you not think it was the perfect place to be checked? And Tanzi said, I was taken to all these places against my will. If they allowed me, I would be able to call somebody to bring my medical so that I could be checked. The doctor confirmed that you never had a gold tooth. And Tanzi said, as he was checking, he told the lady to inform me that I have never had a gold tooth. And Sibanda said, you see, the doctor was fair and independent. Now that's a stretch, okay? And Tanzi responded well to say that I do not know that. I'm hearing it for the first time. Sibanda asked Ntanzi to repeat where they returned to a certain police station. Even Sibanda at this point did not even know what that police station was. He went through another exhibit and he pulled it and said, Rose Magistrate, Ms. Kele, the prosecutor, in person. He has no lawyer. And then Sibanda said that according to how he is reading that document, Tanzi was requesting legal aid. Okay? Mind you, we do not know about this document. We do not know which court appearance is this because Sibanda did not share it. You understand? He just whopped out the document. He just whoop, and he's just like, Miss Ross, you know, at the time I was like, which court appearance is this now? And Tanzi said that on the day he was in court, he never went inside that courtroom, even the counsel, as he did not go inside that courtroom. If there was an attorney, then why did that attorney not come to me? This isn't Tanzi asking that. Remember, he testified even earlier that I was sitting in a car. Then there's this person who came with Mohani and they said, is that the person? Yes, that's the person. And they left him like that. Right? That's what he's saying.
Yeah, boy.
And he's saying, if in fact I was requesting an attorney, how come I did not see that attorney? How come today I cannot point at that attorney and say, this is the attorney that represented me at Tlhabane? Is it Tlhabane or Phokeng? We don't know, but it was copied. The document was, shared with us. Then Mnisi stood to object.
What was shared with you?
Us, the public.
Oh.
When I say us, I mean us, the court of public opinion, the public.
Yebo.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yebo.
And the portion he was reading, and he said, as you read down, this is Mnisi, he stood up, and I didn't understand what he was talking about. But he said that as you read down the very same page that they were holding, that Mr. Sibanda was talking about, right? It said Miss Mudibo on record for accused number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I was like, huh? Hebana. I'm not sure whether the state is aware. This is Mnisi Konche. So it means, as I look on the face of the charge sheet, which is a J50, we don't have accused number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. We only have accused number 1, Bogani Ntanzi. So that indicates that what the court's attention is brought to is not a proper reflection of what happened on that day. Therefore, reliance on this charge sheet is very faulty unless the state is able to explain who these 5 accused were that Miss Mudibo was appearing on behalf of. Otherwise, reliance on this charge sheet cannot be heard. Sibanda said that from the face of the J50, it's only 1 accused, and page 1 is a pro forma. And I did not understand his explanation, because does it mean that Nisi has a different document? Does it mean that it's not the same document that Sibanda and the state has? That what is going on? Why does the sheet that Nisi has her 5 accused with a Mrs. Mutibo, and the one you have is saying it has Bongani Ntanzi. What is going on? What?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
His submission, he said that it's a proper record, and the judge said that he can argue with Mr. Mnisi whether it is a proper record. And Mnisi said that he can argue. In fact, he can argue now. Right? He can argue now. Well, Sibanda went to the 3rd of October 2020, bringing up Mr. Mjiako again. And Ramasipili rose to say that they did not have page 5 of the document he was using to cross-examine. Not only are there Ms. Mudibos appearing with accused 1 to 5 according to Mnisi, but also another page is missing. Page 5 is not there. And they said that they were going to make copies, and he adjourned early because of that. Okay, there was an early adjournment for these copies to be made, and I'm busy sitting,
This
and I'm
is
like,
where it doesn't make sense to me. So, isn't that gonna tantamount to new evidence?
it is new evidence. If they've not had the 5th page all along, why was it kept from them? It means it's a new evidence. And
Trial within a trial.
I'm flabbergasted by this Musmudibo accused 1 to 5. It just randomly is there on that document. I think we can open the lines now, guys. You can call in. It's very suspicious. It's very suspicious. I don't want to lie. Mrs. Mutibo. 1, 2, 5.
It is suspecting. The suspect. Right, guys.
Oh, and by the way, the names of the police officers did come. I just forgot. I remember a Sergeant Mulifi and Ramacha.
It must be on record that those names were not the ones that the judge asked about, right? Those are ones that came prior to that. And then...
No, they came after he asked about the ones for Primrose, the ones who did the OB entries for Primrose and Pukeng. So he gave 2 names, and he said Mulifi and Ramacha. But he did not tell us from which police station and which occurrence book did they fill.
It's like they have them on speed dial.
Yeah.
You know?
They came like that.
I'm just saying.
But they are not on that form that he originally had. He said they are in the original form. He had to look at during adjournment and come with those names in particular.
And then the original form is not there.
It wasn't handed in, no.
Can you imagine? I'm just imagining if this could have, like, on the call, hey, Chief, look, I'm going to need you to... Allegedly. Please, guys, like the video first. Before I answer these calls. Guys, please subscribe. I saw Nat saying it like that. I mean, channels are growing here. We are growing organically. But yeah, that's okay. That's beside the point.
It's our own race.
Zanzi, hello. I feel like you're not a subscriber. It doesn't wanna. Yes, how are you?
Are you a subscriber?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Mr. Anonymous and Emily?
I'm all right. Thank you.
Good. You know, I feel like the judge at the moment is about to have an apoplectic fit. And even me, I feel like I'm going to have an apoplectic fit.
Me too.
Because there's so much going on that it's just flabbergasting the mind.
Yes.
But I'd like to start with this, how the court case ended today and what you just spoke about. That charge sheet with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
And Nisi standing up to say this is, a problem. If we don't know who the 5 are, then, this is not a valid document even. And Sibanda's explanation is that there is a particular state defense attorney attached to that court. And so therefore, she was looking forward to having many clients on the day. So she put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is that what
But
he
really, there was only one. That's what his explanation was. So hopefully that's going to be cleared up tomorrow. Because we don't know whether those other 2, 3, according to Sibanda, what he said, it seems that numbers 2, 3, 4, 5 were blank because she didn't get as many as she was expecting. Or maybe there was a plan to bring all 5 accused that are seated in the dock at the moment on that day and hit 5 birds with 1 stone, and it didn't work out. You know, who knows? So that's my opinion about that, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, you know, how that pans out.
Tomorrow morning.
You know, yeah. For me, I think personally attacking Sibanda is a waste of time. He's doing his job, a bad job, to the best of his ability, and he's doing it like a misogynistic husband questions a wife he thinks is cheating. So he's doing it according to versions, you know. Oh, you said this, that's a lie because you said that also, so therefore this must be wrong, you know. It makes no sense. I have an ex-husband like that. It's an interrogation. It's not cross-examining. But you know, it's his job to break the guy down, and I don't think that Baloyi would have been able to do it as a fellow South African, to be quite honest. I think as someone who's foreign, Sibanda has nothing to lose. And I think he was fully prepared that he would get a backlash from the public for it. So, you know, he's doing the best that he can. And he's doing it in an ugly way. But how else do you do it? How do you blow holes in truth? Unless you attack the person on the other side, you know?
Yes.
And I think that one of the reasons why everybody is so quiet at the moment, including, you know, Mshololo and the judge, is that for me personally, and I could be wrong, I feel that the truth is coming out at the moment. The truth about South African society, the lack of proper administration of the country, let alone the courts. And I think that is what is making people quiet, because it's going to be very hard for the judge to make an easy judgment in this situation, because an easy judgment was going to be, oh, well, they must be guilty because they all have criminal tendencies of some kind. But it's becoming more of an ethics issue, a moral issue for the judge, because I think he's been moseying along, enjoying the limelight, because this is public theater at the moment. You know, a lot of this would have been, it's like when there are demons manifesting in church. If you bring a video, there's even more demons.
Yes.
You know, they start doing more. So at the end of the day, this case is right now, everybody's tired. It's now, people are forgetting the cameras for a change.
Yeah.
And you know, you get to see the real picture. And I'm hoping that that's the case. Because the honest truth is that, for me, the chicken story is the epitome of this trial. And I'm not sure why people are not talking about it a bit more, because, you know, it was the middle of the night. I was catching up with the trial in the middle of the night. My partner was asleep, and I laughed so loudly, you know, that... And I couldn't stop, because Ramasipila, who is so serious all the time, it was the first time I ever saw him laugh. And he covered it up quickly, but he laughed. And Mnisi covered his whole face with his hand so that, you know, you couldn't see his reaction. The judge even stifled what was going to be a laugh. Because that story alone, that chicken story, even when it came up with Crimea the first time, is at the heart of this matter. That actually the police take people for such jokes, not just the accused, but the magistrate herself, who felt threatened in that situation. As Emily said the other day, for me, that was the outstanding thing as well. You know, that she even recorded because she did not feel right.
Yes.
Something was wrong about this situation.
Yes.
And for me, this chicken story is comic tragedy. That's what it is. Because Ntanzi's experience, in fact, the experience of all the accused, whether they are criminals in other matters or not, is not the issue. This matter is the issue.
Yes.
It's comic tragedy. Because people's lives are now being paraded in front of the whole country while their living circumstances as humans are so bad. We don't know what's happening to Ntanzi. Why is he coming late every day? His life may be in danger. How hard is it for cops and correctional services to even get a fellow prisoner to kill him? All of these things, because he's not backing down. And he's not well educated, but he's not an imbecile.
Yes.
And the line of questioning is stupid, if not just insulting. Because, okay, as a teacher, right, reading, writing, speaking any number of different languages is a problem. Reading, writing, and speaking one is a problem.
Yes.
Now we've got things going in translation from one to the next to the next. We can see how badly the translation is going back from the tussle and scuffle and pushing and pulling days of the real trial. It's been nothing but lost in translation since then. And so to say to someone that because you can read Alberton on a thing, that you are lying about reading and writing, is as stupid as you can get. But there's no other line of questioning that the man can take. And for me, the problem also with this AVL and seeing Orlando on a gate, nobody's asked him, was it a road sign? Was it a private gate? Did it look like it was the gate of an officer's? Orlando is like a buzzword in South Africa. There's music about Orlando. There's soccer with Orlando.
Yes.
It's a thing,
Yes.
So anybody can spray paint or put a sign or, like in my house, I have a sign that I got from Swaziland. It says Washam Kuku. It's from House on Fire. Does it mean now that my house is now in Swaziland because I put a sign up?
No.
From Swaziland?
No.
So even the line of questioning to determine facts are so weak.
Yes.
Yes. And I don't want to point fingers at the defense because I think they're doing the best they can. But there's so much paper, so much administration that for me, Mgomezulu is a man who goes for facts. And where there are 1,000 facts, sometimes you need to pick the 400 that are important.
Yes.
Yes. And as Ntanzi kept saying, he said he always felt when Sibanda saying, oh, but you didn't say this and your lawyer said that, he says, but I knew I would get my chance.
Yes.
I knew I would get my chance. Because there's always the filling in of gaps. So to me, that idea of, oh, you can read a road sign or whatever is bullshit. And this idea of him fabricating the story about being, attached to stairs where he was assaulted and what he saw, the way struck and whatever.
Yes.
For me, it's realistic that if they stopped anywhere near a complex where there was like shopping mall or something, where they said they went in to buy something, didn't they?
Yes.
Now, to me, if you go to those sorts of structures, especially those built in new areas, newish areas, you'll find that there's truck stops, there's vacant fields around such things. In fact, there's one place in Rustenburg where the buses even swap over passengers, It's that sort of place where it's completely believable that if there are 3 cars in convoy and 2 cops are going in to buy food, that the other 2 are parked around the back where there may be waste, where there may be dumping. Why not? Shouldn't there be 2 or 3 ATMs or even 1 or whatever at the back? It's completely realistic to me that is the place. And what I'm not understanding is why hasn't somebody got a private investigator on that on the defense team if they've got enough money to find that place? Because it can't be that hard if they plot the AVL and then go in a circular motion, around a radius, round and round. You'll find that place because there can't be too many malls,
Yes.
So if you can plot, okay, this is the mall that we went to, then go on a radius around that mall and see, is there any place that fits the version that this guy is giving? But nobody's doing that. So it's becoming now about character assassination.
Yes.
And it's becoming also, to me, at the heart of South African society, it's about psychological warfare. And I don't think we can do anything about gender-based violence in South Africa if we can't do anything about class-based violence. Because this is class-based violence. This is picking a man from the sticks who's worked 11 years on the mine in Joburg, the same job.
Yes.
Right? If anything speaks about his character, it's that,
Yes.
And then he's speaking to me. I have a Zulu partner. I make a joke about it when he's being romantic. I say he's speaking River Zulu.
Yeah.
This guy is speaking, River Zulu, deep Zulu. That's why he's showing respect. It's part of his character. It's not something he has to pretend or act out or say in a certain way like so many of the other witnesses, where they are mimicking other people, other accents, even trial within trial, my lord. Everybody is trying to be better and smarter and, than everybody else. So picking this guy as a potential for this is an insult in a way that we're all looking to insult somebody racially, culturally, linguistically, educationally in this country. Even the judge is so proud of himself with his multilingualism when he can speak, bad Afrikaans from like back in the day when he was supposed to do it in high school during apartheid. He's so proud of himself that he can, practical, and then, so even he is part of that. And I think that's one of the reasons he's quiet at the moment. Because this is now no longer about Senzo.
Yeah.
It's no longer about anything except two things: the Minister of Police and the head of the NPA. And to me, the news people are not even talking about this the right way. We understand Griselda Lewis works for government because SABC is their broadcasting company.
Yes.
But to me, everybody's making it a case of the emperor's new clothes. Forget Wag the dog. It's worse. Because everybody's reporting on this trial as though it's, such a sensible, factual thing. And the accused today was, asked by Sibanda, blah, blah, blah. And then the bullshit. Why are they not asking the right questions? Why aren't they bringing up the panel saying, okay, what is the actual reality of police brutality in South Africa? Is it so hard to believe what the accused are saying based on questioning, stopping and starting of vehicles and not actual content of what was happening, during that process? So why are people not questioning the powers that be about what this case actually represents for South African society? And I have an answer for that, I think. It's because we're completely, utterly depoliticized. When Obama came into power in the US, it was because the youth were fed up with their country.
Yeah.
And it was American youth that decided to stand up and say, you know what, fuck this, we're going to start voting. We're going to start voting now,
Yeah.
And Umkhonto we Sizwe is about to do that now in this country as well. It's about to repoliticize people because we've been sitting on our hands with this fake, put your stone in a bucket democracy. But we're not politicized enough about constitutional rights.
Yeah.
And for me, this case and Zuma's case are two things that are outstanding about how the Constitution is not worth the paper it's written on. Because number one, Zuma's trial was not, people were, it was a misconception that it was about him, being guilty or innocent about something, when actually he was being called to rat on his friends. He was being called to be asked questions in which he did not have to implicate himself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a proper court of law, and it wasn't even a proper subpoena. And the country, went to hell for 5 minutes, and we tried to make a statement with burning things down, and we got nowhere. Now maybe Umkhonto will get somewhere with that. But that's about a constitutional right. If it can happen to Zuma, it can happen to any ordinary citizen.
Yeah.
And the same in this case. This is happening to ordinary citizens every single day. There's that YouTube channel guy, the one who does stories. I think you actually mentioned him once as well because he covered something to do.
Oh, Menzisto.
Yes, that's the guy.
Yes.
He even tells so many stories. At the end of the day, we're not as a country unaware of what happens with the police. So why aren't we going to the heart of the matter? Why aren't we getting angry that tomorrow I can be falsely accused of a murder? and spend the rest of my life going through a trial, that makes no sense, that actually should be brought to an end, and that's because we're actually still busy. We still, as long as we're not doing that, it's because we still have too much dispensable cash. As long as we've got dispensable cash to buy a energy drink tomorrow, we actually don't care about our rights at the end of the day.
No, I hear you. You said mouthful.
Thank you so much for letting us, host you. Because at this point,
thank you. Actually,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll be black.
Please, you're more than welcome.
Bye.
Thank you. Wow,
well,
that was a nice call.
I'm glad it's not Mr. Anonymous saying that. I'm hearing the dog barking at your backyard, and I'm hoping that everything is cool. All that is said here is alleged and is obvious public opinion.
It's a public opinion. We have opinions here on that reality, and we welcome all kinds of opinions. Please, keep them coming.
One day we will have a platform that will allow us to vent this way. Where we won't be tiptoeing around.
Limited, tiptoeing.
One day. I just hope one day we'll have such platform. Right. Guys, anyone something to say, or you just enjoyed this last call?
That last call was everything. That last call was everything. Everything that I wanted to say, but I cannot say. And I don't know how to put it in a manner that's palatable. Because, in South Africa, there's this, I don't know, but we are like this. When a message needs to be delivered, everyone wants to consume it in a palatable manner, even though the message is not palatable. It's I struggle with it all the time, even in my content creation process. It's difficult to come and speak your mind because people don't know how to take. How dare you have an opinion? How dare you just have that opinion? Who are you? It's that constant wrestle of how do I deliver this to South Africans in a way that they will digest it. It's so difficult. And this is where I also look at the media and how it is trained. It has kind of trained how we think in our thought processes. It's very difficult, you guys. It's hard. You have to think, Guti, how am I going to deliver this topic? How am I going to deliver this news in a way that they will get it? Some are instantly wanting to fight. Just at the mention of having a different opinion, people are ready. They've got weapons. They want to attack you for having a doubt.
Tanzi, hello.
Hello, good morning. Morning, Anonymous and Emily.
Morning.
Yes, I don't know. I really like what the previous caller was talking about. I think she made a lot of good points.
Yes.
So maybe on my side, just to maybe on the flip side now, maybe I don't know if you can also assist me. I'm just getting a bit confused as well.
Okay.
So what the Ntanzi is, I don't know if it's part of the game plan or it's actually what it is, because it seems as if he's backtracking from some of the things. So for example, in terms of obviously the rapper claim that he asked if he was still alive. Backtracked from that, and then also with the Cronier, that interview with Cronier. So it seems as if it did happen, because obviously there was a recording that was subsequently disallowed.
Yes.
But that recording, I mean, obviously the guys listened to it, and it was an interview. So clearly he was being asked questions and he was answering questions. But now he says he wasn't being asked and he wasn't being asked. But so I'm trying to understand is it like what's the thing there? Because if indeed he did have an interview where he was answering, although he was confused and maybe didn't know what was happening, but he was answering. So why is he now saying he wasn't? Because if that recording is there, it exists, the defense listened to it, then so that's just what's confusing me.
Well, I think we've already talked about the issue with the recording.
We have talked about the issue.
The issue with the recording is how it was taken. It was very unconstitutional.
Yes, I agree. I mean, the fact that he did, he was asked questions and he did answer. But now, if he's saying no, when Sibanda's asking him and he's saying no, he wasn't asked that question, he did not give that answer. But in the recording, yes, the recording was illegally taken. That's why it was disallowed. Yes. But the truth is that the questions were asked, and there were responses.
There are elements of how the truth was, how he was answering. What were the conditions as well?
It's not even about conditions. Let us put it clear. Maybe it will be clear.
Put it clear.
Let's make an example. OB entrance, Ntanzi says no one signed for him, but he was taken to the cell. Does that theory make sense to you? Yes, it makes sense to me. If someone is bruised, you obviously don't want anyone to sign for that person. You want to take that person straight to the cell.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
So, the theory of who wrote what, Ntanzi is making one assertion saying that if these people wanted me to write something, all the statements, I could have written them in Zulu and then they could have transcribed them. They didn't do that. They wrote the statements for him. The question is, when was that statement wrote? Was it when Tanzi was there, or was it just handed over, like he's saying that with Rapad, it was handed over. So, and the question is, with the magistrate, Tanzi had already taken what they call a confession, right? With Rapad.
Yes.
Why was he going to magistrate? To do the same thing? If it wasn't just to make sure that you put a rubber stamp around everything and say, I did it with the magistrate, and the magistrate could not lie. But what we are seeing here is that people who are in charge of this case, in my own opinion, they have too much power. That you'd even be surprised if you get to have that power yourself. The power they have is such that they can snap the finger like this and they got into you. That's my feeling. That's what I'm getting from this case. And if you look at Creasure's case and other cases, this is not something that is just happening for the first time, right?
Yes.
So I'm talking about big people now, people who have money, people who had a lawyer of no color, not just a legal aid lawyer, a lawyer who's paid by legal aid. I'm talking about people who would pay with their money. They won the case against these guys. So do we just forget about that and start thinking that maybe Ntanzi indeed did answer this question, or because of that history, we start thinking maybe they followed the same trend, but they are more polished now than ever?
With the magistrate.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I mean, there's a lot that is wrong about this case. I was just wondering on just that one aspect that
of the recording.
If the facts are there that there is a recording where his voice is there being heard answering the question, so that is a fact. Now, in the examination, when asked that, he says no, because obviously there's no such evidence because that thing was not allowed. So, but now the question is why then deny it if it is a fact that you were asked and you did answer. I mean, the recording is there; it is a fact.
It becomes a fact when it's authenticated. It was not authenticated. Remember, in South Africa, I can take your voice now and make the statement about. We made an example of people who are advertising using the big people who have money, your Rupert and everyone else. Have you seen those adverts?
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen the Elon Musk one.
Do you think the Elon Musk is Elon Musk speaking there? Do you think that's him?
No, of course not.
Then the question is, why did the magistrate decide to record?
Remember, she said she was fearing for her life, so she wanted to capture that thing. So on her side, she obviously, and that's why it was disallowed, because she used the wrong procedure to obtain it. So that part I get, understand.
Why would the magistrate use a wrong procedure, knowing exactly what she needed to do?
And have it handed to the state like that?
Why would a magistrate even hand over that thing? I mean, this is someone who presides over such things and declines such things. Why would he do it?
And if she knew it was
wrong, are you saying that the voices in the recording are false?
Unless they are authenticated and some expect a real one, not from the States. Anything is possible in this world.
Okay, so then
entries, the originals are not being used to cross-examine. They are sitting somewhere where an adjournment is needed to go and find them.
The original papers.
Yes, the original.
Simple thing, something written down. You need to, something that should be in court, by the way. But they need to adjourn and go fetch. The ones that are printed, they don't have certain names. The originals have certain names. Do you get where I'm going with this? I mean, you get it.
Yeah. See, yes, everything else, I'm with you, and I'm 100%. It's just that one aspect, the fact that if that recording exists and it's true, what is the game plan from the defense? Are they saying, okay, we'll deny this this part of the evidence because we don't want? I'm just trying to understand the game plan, because if the recording is there and the guys had it, the reason for it not being admitted was solely on the way it was obtained, not because of the content.
You also have to ask yourself that why would a magistrate first of all record that, and why would they be so easily handing it over for it to be used in a court knowing that it's wrong?
That's a question.
Yes. Of course. I mean, she wanted to sort of like validate her process, to say yes, there was an interpreter, the rights were read, and things like that. And
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That's the problem here. She knows it was wrong.
Once you start thinking like that, that means you must also doubt almost everything that is said about the other ones, the other police, because AVL is even confirming some of the things that he's saying. And even that AVL, some people think that it's not fully populated. Mm-hmm. Do you understand?
Yeah, the AVL, I don't believe in the AVL. That's why I was advocating for them to get an expert, but they disappointed me there. Because that AVL...
But we're talking about an independent company here. Company that has money.
But this company is not necessarily independent, because they're being paid by the state.
Tender.
But if you don't believe in that, where people can actually be saying, no, we're not going to do that. One person comes in and say, do this for me. One person comes and say, do this. Let's say your theory of not believing is correct. So that means one person came and said, I want data like this. I want you to do it like this. One person who's not even a minister. I want you to look at that. How powerful that person must be. How powerful that person must be. I'm just, obviously, we can differ, but I'm just thinking of the power. This is like someone who can come to McDonald's and say, I want this to be done like this. Say this person is not there, was never there. And that the manager just simple says that. I'm just making an example, obvious. That's the power that we're talking about.
Yeah, no, that one makes 100%. Yeah, so I think that was my only issue, just those, because I think Sibanda is capitalizing on those. He keeps on saying, hey, your lawyer said this, when are you saying this? And then the guy is cornered to say, no, I can't speak for my lawyer. So I think those contradictions, that's what I was saying. I'm not sure if it was then the game plan to say, okay, you know what, let's now deny this portion of the evidence. Or was it genuinely?
Maybe it was said to do not talk about what lawyers talked about, because you are not learned to that extent. Always say you cannot say anything about the lawyers. Maybe that's
because because the only issue is that the state is now going to argue and say during cross-examination of all those guys, incorrect versions were put, and therefore whatever they responded or whatever contradictions they may have made, those cannot be used against them because incorrect versions were put. So if you want to put another version, you must cross-examine them again and things like that. So I just fear that they will argue that those cross-examinations must not be, considered.
Let me ask you before you leave. Let me ask you this question: does that say that now the judge should rule in a trial within the trial in favor of the NPA?
No, in this case, I think what's actually going to, or what needs to happen, obviously, because it isn't like you said that in the previous case, that the Trodeman one, the main thing there was the OB entry. So now Kininda fixed that. Saw that, okay, last time they ruled me out because of the OBs. Now he fixed the OBs. But I'm just not sure when it comes to the medicals. And because obviously with the medicals, they failed. I don't know what Sibanda was trying to do there, abusing Tanzi, because that guy is not a doctor, he's not a GP. So that one day it's just whatever Ntanzi says about what happened to the doctor, I mean, it doesn't really matter. But I think I'm not really sure what the crux of the judgment is going to be here, because the OBs seems like, unless the defense shows that in Mohane's testimony he did, because I mean there was a guy Rapau, I think at some point he said the guys didn't allow him to they didn't want to open for him, so they gave him the keys and then he went and he opened for Ntanzi. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
He said, give me the keys.
We do remember.
So
that.
it means if that guy can do that, then Mohane can also do the same thing. Because I remember he said the guys didn't want to, the police, they didn't, so they said they were scared because he was going to run away or something like that.
Yes.
So they gave him the keys. So he went and he opened for, I think it was number one, when they were going for the point outs or something. I don't know. I just don't remember that part.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, no, we had that.
Yeah.
We remember that, yes. No?
So if that guy could do that, if they refused for him to open for him and he took the keys and he opened for that guy, then Mohane can obviously do the same. So that can be used to rebut the OB entries.
Yeah.
To say, yeah. Because the Silver Tin guy just came there, he spoke on Silver Tin and then just spoke in general, giving us general things that they in general. But that's not what happened in those particular police stations. So I think, they might still have a leg to stand on the OBs as well.
Yeah. No, thank you very much, Sam.
Yeah. And a lot was wrong with the recording as well.
Right.
Giaco was there.
I'm just going to close it here.
All right.
We are above 2 hours. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
some
guys.
of my machines are complaining now. They're saying, yo.
They're overheating.
Who's overheating? You're still showing your face, but you're saying they are overheating. Tanzi, hello. Tanzi, hello.
That was some shade right there.
Right. Guys, thank you very much. It's a bye from me. Please like the video. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Tebile. That is Tebile Sekhametse. Thank you. Thank you, Net. Thank you, Isaiah, for generous gift. No longer taking calls. And let me see. Thank you, Zediso Tetwa. Thank you, Lindy We. Thank you, Behat. Ansike Moyo, Mandisa, and
Ansike Moyo and Mandisa.
Lindy Wetwala.
Lindy
Yeah, those are people that were busy as we were talking, and some also called. Thank you for your.
Thank you, guys. Keep that conversations going. Nah, I really appreciate them. And I know they assist me as well to look at the whole picture.
Zamani Kwabe, Timbelani Kanye, thank you. Thank you, Busani Sibanda. Thank you, Tule2s. Thank you, fam. Thank you very much. It's a bye from me. Please like the video, share the video. Do everything that you need to do with the video that is right, though. Do not do what is wrong because we'll strike you. It's a bye from us.
Bye, guys.